I am so pleased today to be able to be the first one to show you Omniverse Code. In this first version, labeled 22.1 beta, we will adopt the Kit SDK 103, which is our latest generation of Omniverse Kit. In the following videos, we will guide you through some of the key pieces in a rapid introductions to complete the year, but expect to see many more videos and details in the new year to come. Welcome to this discovery of Omniverse Code first beta. Omniverse Code is an application built on Omniverse Kit SDK targeted to developer workflows. It enables you to access all of the powers of Kit SDK into a combined applications where documentations and developer workflows are pushed at the forefront. You will see the familiar interface from the Omniverse application like Create and View, because it is built upon the same UI SDK. We are pushing forefront different type of workflow though. Of course, the extension manager is always present there for you to discover extensions. We are going to go over some new documentations and existing one that we have put directly accessible from those tabs, from the UI documentations, USD, some new graph editor documentations, and also interesting things about the new viewport. The menu also have been optimized to give you access to resource on learning and discovering things around streaming or Omniverse Farm. There is still access for you of your convenient browsers for samples, the content browser where you can find your files, access to your console, and of course the script editor always present for your scripting needs. On the right hand side, you can see the usual things around your stage and your properties for your USD layers, your USD objects, your layer windows, render settings for your rendering, and these new extensions around debug settings. There's also a few other things that we'll go over briefly to list the commands that you've executed and also connect to a live debugger. So all in all, in a familiar experience, but building toward the developer experience and workflows. In the following sections, we will go into more details in some of the things that are new and in what is in the making for you as a developer to be able to experience Omniverse Kit SDK in the best way possible. Omniverse Code continues to bring the great extension manager into your workflows. With it, you can discover all of the extensions that are available inside the Kit SDK, of course, as we've discussed a few times, and we'll go in more details in some of our following videos. But more importantly, you can start creating your own. Simply press the plus button, new extension template project, pick a folder in your work environments that you will use to store your project. Then, in that project, you will be asked to have a project name, my first extension, and then an extension name that uniquely represents your extensions in the UI, and you can have multiple extensions by project, of course. Omni.ui Code for today. This will automatically launch VS Code and set it up a project for you that include all of the necessary and useful tools that you need in order to create your extensions. That include the project templates with the source code. Let's make that window a little bit bigger to see. That is already set up and optimized for you to be able to learn and use it. There is the link to the Code SDK that is used directly there, including some important extensions and configurations of VS Code to enable pylons, as we're going to see very quickly right now. This code is fully linted, and as you see with the color, you have access to the online documentations for all of these items, for windows and label buttons, everything fully colored and automatically completed using pylons. If you look into code, you see that actually already that window project was created for us and made available. And so as I have this window here, I can continuously see my change interactively happen. Some label for code and then save this is automatically reflected. And as you learn, and we'll see in more detail, you can start using that to include and make your code very interactive, and then build the type of environment you want in a very fast and iterative fashion. Again, we will have follow-up video to detail more how to build those and manage your codes and build these interactive workflows, and we've shown in the past. But of course, this will be first class into code, enabling you to quickly start in few clicks your own extensions and start learning Omni.ui and its great possibilities and all of the other USD things. With code come all of our great interactive documentations. You might have seen in the past Omniverse Ui Dock, which is an extension built entirely using Omni.ui, and so it is fully interactive, and so all of the buttons and sliders act as you would expect from them, and they are directly written in Omni.ui. They show you the code that you can look at and copy. They show you different interactive example on how these things are working. We've extended that for some other area of the platform, give you more access to the documentations of these different subsystems, and we've exposed them very clearly in Omniverse Code, so you can discover them easily and learn from them. In Kit SDK 103, which code is the first application being built based on, we're introducing a new manipulator and scene overlay system. It is called Omni.ui.scene. This new interface enables you to create interactive manipulators. This one will have gestures and different activities where you can grab these objects and then manipulate them in a very easy fashion. Here they're shown in 2D, but of course these manipulators are working in a fully 3D world, and you are able to create 3D constructs that you can then manipulate. There is a set of standard manipulators that have been implemented that you can use to do 2D or 3D manipulations. Here, some example of it implemented for a 2D point manipulation system. Again, faithful to Omniverse UI, writing very little code, all in Python, and generating accelerated 3D graphics that will render really fast into your viewport. Those manipulators are, of course, working perfectly in that 3D world where you can select these objects, have them for rotations or different things into your viewport, and all of those written in Python, so you can use them as great examples. Alongside these documentations for this Omni.ui, we have extended and refined the Omniverse documentation for USD generally, with a lot more details on USD in general, but also inside Kit. All of these documentations is interactive, and so you can create, here you see these objects directly inside the scene by pressing the little play buttons. And so this way it provides you great interactive ways to read. Again, this documentation is great, and we will show more example of that. I will go over the graph and the viewport in follow-up small sections, and then I will meet you there. In many of our videos, you've heard discussed about the Omni.ui.Graph framework. This is the framework that is used in the material editor and in OmniGraph UI. For this release of code, we're really pleased to share with you an entire sample dedicated at the graph framework for you to be able to copy from and start into your own graph-based applications. This sample shows the graph editor core and its various features. The registry of nodes, this toolbar where you can add your own icons, and of course the canvas where you can open your graphs. Here we'll open a simple graph, serialize as JSONs, and be able to visualize. You will notice one of the new look that we've added to the collections of look. These extensions will enable you to switch to the different looks so you can visualize them and see them in effect. The graph framework enables you to have nodes with different states, here in different zoom level or collapsed levels, as you zoom out, they feather into great visual representation, so you can still read your graph at different levels of zooming. They of course support compound nodes, so you can deep dive into a node and see a new level of the graph. In these levels, you can then add different nodes into your panels and be able to connect them to each other when they're compatible. You can add mass nodes and then eventually bring some of your nodes at the higher level, so you can expose them into a graph that works, and you see that these nodes are now exposed here at the higher level. Again, this is a great graph framework for you to discover. Alongside the example extension that you can use as a starting point is a great in-depth documentation that detail all of these various pieces to explain to you how the graph is built, how the model relates and connects to your own part of the applications and the different things. Again, in this new style of interactive documentations where you can see the effect of the code and then you can read the code, we expect that this will be an important starting point for any graph-based applications, and you will discover that in a very short amount of time you're able to build great applications using the graph framework and all in Python in great effect inside Kit. Another great addition to Kit SDK 103 that will show in code is the new Viewport technology. Of course, it comes with a great documentation where you'll be able to review its new workflows, the different layers that it's composed at, and how to enable it and the various APIs. Let me show you how to enable it quickly here, and we will go into details in the follow-up videos. In the featured extensions, you'll see the new omni.kit.viewport window that serves as the platform for these new technologies. When you open it, you can see this new viewport that is very familiar to the type of viewport that you have seen before, of course. But the menu is actually a new rebuild menu technology that will be customizable and where you'll be able to access everything. Of course, the manipulator of the viewport itself is now fully in Python and programmable, so you'll be able to build those great things. Those manipulators that we've seen before are also available here in that viewport for you to use that. You see that we now have multiple viewports. They can be on different cameras and act differently. If I set them up here on these different camera, you see that now we have multiple viewports. You will also be able to create new viewports of your own to start having multiple workflows where you can sort of, go and create new workflow to visualize your scenes from multiple viewports. There's also great technology coming to expose third-party Hydra renderer like Storm and other ones that you'll be able to use into your applications at great effect. More to that again in follow-up discussions. So all in all, a lot of great technology coming in the viewport area as well that you will be able to enjoy in Kit 103 and start testing and working with in the first version of code. We have plenty of resources for you to get to. We discussed about the developer resources. We talked about the Kit documentations. There is Omniverse resources across to learn about connector, to learn about the applications that have been built. But mostly we want to build that with you, and we want you to tell us what resource you're liking. Engage with us and connect with us so we can build more tutorials and samples to address your needs so you can start building with us.